Good morning, everyone. And I will be reporting about Iskaya and Badjao Tribe. So let's get to know the indigenous people as we tackle about the Iskaya and Badjao Tribe. So first, let's get to meet this Iskaya people living in Bohol province or Bohol, Philippines. So that is my very own province. So I'm very glad that I will be able to report to you the indigenous people we have in our province. Okay. All right. So to begin with, the Iskaya is an indigenous tribe found in the hinterlands of the towns Duero, Guindelman, Pilar, and Sierra Bolyones Bohol's southeast interior. Okay, so the settlement of this tribe is at Bayabas, Guindelman, established in the early 20th century by Juan Mariano de Tahan. De Tahan died in the year 1949. Although the sky had been known to people living in the vicinity of Bohol's southeast highlands prior to World War II, it was only in the early 1980s that they came to wider public attention when government agricultural advisors toured the province to introduce Green Revolution policies. According to the last census in 2000, it had a population of around 3,000. They live in a few villages in the mountains and along the coast. So here is a picture of where the Iskaya people houses or lived in Bohol. This is a picture of mountains and along the coast sides. In regards to writing and language, the Iskaya has or have a unique language and writing system that scholars have not been able to link to any other known language. As you can see, here is their way of writing. So it has not been known by the scholar or linked to any other language. So they also have a unique oral history or mythology, depending on who you ask. Because there are different, there are different oral history, depends on the people you ask. So, dating back to biblical times, they believe that people originated from a butterfly called Pinya Pai Pai Pling. In some way, the butterfly interacted with a lion, and lioness gave birth to a monkey. That monkey mated with another and then gave birth to the first humans. This is according to them. This is depicted in their the educational chart from their school. So as you can see, this depicts their oral history or mythology. This is teach in their educational charts on the school where they at. Okay, so Iskaya society at earlier times, Iskaya men wore shirts made of piña with a Chinese style collar, black breeches, and cotton berets. Women wear piña dresses with bulging sleeves, which is definitely of Spanish influence. This mode of dressing can still be observed in the Bayaba settlement in Taytay, Duero, Bohol. The women cover their heads with cotton habits. So this are the Iskaya men. You can see that they're wearing their traditional clothes or clothing. And this is also a picture of an Iskaya woman. So Iskaya women are not allowed to cut their hair short nor wear trousers. Drinking and dancing are likewise a taboo, but due to modern influences from neighboring towns and in the name of progress and education, these customs has been discontinued. Now, the traditional mode of dressing is usually observed during weekly services and special occasions only. Okay, so With regards to farming, the Eskaya practiced communal farming wherein all produce is for the benefit of the whole community. But in the later years, though, this has not been observed, and Eskaya can now own land, till it, and enjoy its fruits. So they basically have their own titling. They can own their land, and like before, that all produce is for the benefit of the whole community. When it comes to traditions, this is very true, especially in my town in Batuan, in Baton Bohol. At weddings, the parents of the bride offer the couple of a glass of water and a comb. So the comb is to be dipped in the water and run through the hair of both bride and groom. Rice is then showered on the couple, connoting plenty. This is like a tradition to every wedding ceremonies that we have. Now, when it comes to religion, under the direction of Mariano de Tahan, the group converted to Philippine Independent Church in about 1902. Community members revere the Intaitisono, which is conflated with the Santo Niño, and in addition to weekly church services, they is served by appointed spiritual leaders known as Biki and Beriki. So, prior to us having priest, we have our Biki and Beriki. That is the appointed leader of the spiritual leaders. Okay, so the Biki or bishop or Beriki is responsible for performing harvest ceremonies and other rituals such as house blessings before a house can be constructed. Let's say, for example, so a spiritual is or a ritual is performed in which a spiritual leader asks the permission of the spirits. So if permission is not granted, the builder must select a new site. The sky also retains spiritual traditions once widespread in lowland Boholana rural communities. And this is the tribal house of them. Now let's go to the Badjao. Badjao people are known to be the Sea Gypsies of Mindanao. History and origin. Badjao or Badjao means man of the seas. This tribal group is known as the Sea Gypsies because they move with the wind and the tide in their small houseboats called vintas. They can be found in many coastal settlements and inhabit the waters and shores of Sulu archipelago. The people of the Badjao tribe are a nomadic, seafaring tribe. The men of the tribe are skilled fishermen, specifically the art of pantana fishing, spear fishing. They traditionally lived on houseboats, moving through the seas wherever was needed to fulfill their fishing requirements. The Badjao are also talented divers, diving for pearls. To this day, these activities still play a major part in the lives of the Badjao people. They collect the fish and pearls and sell them at the main markets in Cebu City. These activities are traditionally their main source of income. However, due to the increasing piracy around 1960s, the Badjao people were forced off the water and onto land. They found a new home at Alaska Beach, Mambaling in Cebu City. They built wooden houses suspended over water in which they could tie their boats to. This style of house suited the tribe's people very well as it provided easy access to their boats. So, as you can see, here is a picture of a child, a Badjao child who is fishing an octopus. So they are a good fisherman of the sea. In regards to their culture, the tribe has a very rich culture. They are known for their non-confrontational nature and values of respect. They are governed by a shiftan and group of leaders. The Badjao tribe had developed an unsavory reputation in Cebu, owing to their participation in begging within the markets in city. The chieftain recognizes that it was only through education this chain of poverty which his people faced would be broken. Because as you can see in the cities, there are a great number of Badjao people. Uh, because they lack education, that is why they are unable to do anything as they said. They can't read nor can't write, so they are unable to look for food or have a decent job at least. One lifestyle, making use of small wooden sailing vessels. Their village is in the southern Philippines on a little stretch of beach on Sarangani Bay, which is just a few miles south of General Santos. Traditionally, Badjao had no permanent dwellings and lived on their boats throughout the year. Badjao was displaced Badjao was displaced by wars and the death of their traditional fishing culture. Their homeland has been taken away from them and their culture is gradually slipping away. Amongst themselves, they are known as Samalos, Sisama, and are found living on houseboats where they make their